Welcome to the Kit Car History File series, where we'll be going through the industry's past. We'll be visiting old marks of long ago, some modern ones, some mostly older stuff. A lot of archive information with photographs and information on the cars they made, the people involved, and what happened to them. Hi, welcome to the Total Kit Car YouTube channel. My name's Steve Hole. I'm editor of TKC Mag and totalkitcar.com. If you're a regular around here, then welcome back. If you're new around here, then welcome. I know how these things on YouTube feeds work. It happens to me all the time. You settle down for a video or something on something you are interested in, and then something random. But I find that something random appears. But I find that sometimes that's happened that I think, well, I'm not interested in that, but let's have a quick look, and I become not addicted, but quite sort of hooked on the particular subject. So I quite like that, actually, that sort of random nature of these things. Anyway, without further ado, let's look at this episode. I've got something quite special, an unusual, slight alternative, shall we say. And although it was a replica, it's a very special replica, and it certainly wasn't a kit car, but it is very specialist, and I thought it would be of interest. It certainly piqued mine. It was called the Porsche 356 Carrozzerria Zagato Coupe, and in its replica form from 2015 to 17, it was called the Porsche 356 Carrozzerria Zagato Coupe Sanction Lost replica. We'll explain that as we go along. It was a result. It was actually the first collaboration between Porsche and Carrozzerria Zagato, right back in 1957. So it was quite a special car. It was not a factory commission either. It was a guy that was known as a prince of racers, a prince among racers, a guy called Claude STOREZ. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, STOREZ, which means I'm probably not. Now, he was a very successful Porsche driver in various races around Europe during the 50s. The 356 was, not to overplay, it was a very successful car in its class in GT racing in the 50s. But by the sort of later elements of the 50s, 1957, 58, it was beginning to get, shall we say, reeled in by other cars, such as newcomers, such as Alfa Romeo Giulietta, and particularly Lotus 11 with the Climax engine. And it wasn't being outgunned in terms of power, because that Furman, F-U-H-R-M-A-N-N, Furman engine, Hans Furman I think his name was a real revelation, and it was a spiteful, fearsome beast that by 57, 58, 59 was still, well, it still sounds as if it's competitive these days. A beautiful thing, a jewel of an engine. 356 was being beaten really because of aerodynamics or lack of them. So STOREZ approached Ugo Zagato and asked him to produce a special body for his 356 Carrera. He wanted something that's more streamlined, more aerodynamic, to help fight off the Alphas and particularly the Lotus 11s. So Zagato got cracking with it really, and they presented STOREZ with a stunning, I think the photos here courtesy of Bonhams.com for illustrative purposes, are absolutely, well, it shows a beautiful thing. Set apart there by those very distinctive shaped doors, a curved one-piece half windscreen, and those picked out in red tail fins, which look absolutely spectacular. When Zagato had finished, they sent the car back to Porsche at Zuffenhausen for some mechanical fettling before it was very shortly delivered back to STOREZ. He entered one race in it, and the aluminium body, by the way, from Zagato was a thing of beauty, as you can see. He entered a race, the Tour de France automobile at Reims, and I know the French pronounce it Oms or something, but I can't do that. It's Reims as far as I'm concerned. A GT race of real note in September 1958, and he actually finished second behind a Ferrari 250 GT Tour de France model. And things were looking pretty promising for old Claude and his special 356. He then entered a French rally. I think that might have been in October 58. Tragically, he was killed in an accident on the last stage of that rally. And if that wasn't bad enough, someone stole his 356. And apparently it's a real mystery. It disappeared and has never been seen since. No one really knows what happened to it. But if we scroll right forward to 2015, an American collector called Herb Wettenson, he was fascinated by that car, as I am as well. Lots of people are, but not many of us have got the ability to go to Carrozzerria Zagato and ask him to produce a replica, which they agreed to do. And as it turns out, I think Zagato recognised its importance, because I think it was the first, almost certainly it was the first collaboration with Porsche that they'd undertaken back in 57. And it spurred them on actually to produce an intended run of 18 replicas, 9 speedsters and 9 coupes. Ultimately, only built 11 9 speedsters and 2 coupes. But that was really good. And the fact is that they when they were doing their research, they noticed that there was over 400 what they called lost projects, one-off cars like STOREZ' Speedster. And it sort of spurred them on to recreate some of those cars, which I think is a fabulous thing to have done. Really beautiful thing to have done. And it was that point that those cars were referred to as Sanction Lost. Not continuations, but Sanction Lost, because obviously there was only one and it was never found. It was lost. But it was sanctioned by the Porsche Museum, in fact, I think, who Zagato worked very closely with. They had nothing really to work on other than photographs, so they went to some really extreme lengths to reproduce that beautiful body. And they used like very latest photometric technology, which enabled them to scan the photos painstakingly and recreate a three-dimensional model that they worked from. And as I said, they worked closely with the Porsche Museum on it. They found some original concept drawings, I think, too, which led them down the right path. I think you could, in theory, buy one, but I think they were sold out in minutes. I think ultimately, I think it was quite a painstaking process to try and buy one, and if you knew, you knew. The first customer cars, I think, were delivered very soon in 2016. So, and I think the program, as I said earlier, lasted until 17 when they brought the curtain down on it. Even the pricing, I think, was very closely guarded. But Bonhams sold the car you see here, the Speedster you see here, for 350 grand, or just over 350 grand in 2022 in an auction. So it gives you some indication on the beauty and the value of these things. But those 2 coupes really, I was sitting poring over these photos, and I've got to say, I think the Speedster is one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen in my life. But then I saw the coupe, and you know what? I'm torn. I got to sneak into it, and that was an interesting one, because that's a replica of a car that didn't actually exist, if you think about it. But what a stunning thing, and I'm almost inclined to say I prefer the coupe. I think the only way around that would be to buy one of each, but they were all based on original 356 donors, which I think made a few purists flinch, as I understand to be so, really, given their rarity. And they certainly went well. And so that's the story of short but sweet story of the STOREZ Speedster. Quite a fascinating tale. But I've also got another one, which I'll do in another slight alternative episode of the History File series, And that was one, a 356 that Porsche worked with Carlo Abarth on, called a Carrera GTL. Again, well, body was supposed to be designed by Zagato, but dear old Carlo took it to another carrozzeria in the end. But it was designed by an ex-Zagato designer, a fabled one as well, by the way. But we'll come to that in another day. But rest assured, that one is equally as stunning and as beautiful as the car featured here. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. Whatever time of day it is, I hope you're having it's a good day for you. And I look forward to welcoming you to this channel again very soon. Incidentally, before I go, if you could, if you got this far and you're enjoying what you're listening to, and you find it of interest, we've got plenty of this stuff up our sleeves. We've got 75 years almost of history to go at, so we can bring you some stuff that you've never seen before in celebration of a fantastic British industry, the UK kit car industry, a fantastic one with some incredible cars and some great stories. And I'm happy to raid our archive, photo archive, and bring some of these cars back to life, if you will. Some of these photos are the only acknowledgement, really, that these cars ever existed, which I find quite an honour, really, to be custodian of those. And I think they deserve to be seen. Some of the photos, not the ones here, obviously, but in some of the episodes we do, or have done so far and will do, are over 50 years old. And if they were seen, it was in a magazine such as Hot Car or early Triple C's back in the late sort of early 60s, mid 60s, if they were ever seen at all. So I think it's our duty to share them with the world, really. But anyway, we do these videos, audio videos, I think you could, well, I don't know what they are actually, but anyway, we do these with in association with Neil Winnington's Enwin Motors channel. And if you could click the subscribe button here as well as there, we'd very much appreciate it. Won't cost you a penny. And of course, if you could also hit the like button, because that really helps the channel develop, and we can bring you more. And we can actually develop these stories. I think we're gonna work in the future on bringing a few bells and whistles to them. But I need to go on a serious makeup course for that, I think, too. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. Hope you have a great day. Look forward to welcoming you again here soon. Thank you very much.